Hey folks, looks like, one sec, my webcam is not working for some reason. Let me just fix that. There we go. How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to the TSS YouTube stream. My name's Cyrus Davis and I'm going to be playing some Snorlax. I'm going to make sure my list is all up to date here. Gotta make sure we have those Cornerstone Ogre Pawns for the Shrouded Fable format. I'm going to be playing 2 copies, so you can sort of see the list here as I update it. And if anyone is curious about the list, you can feel free to screenshot it at this portion of the stream. You know, someone in the chat asked if Snorlax was good for Worlds. I do think Snorlax is good for Worlds. I will say I almost definitely won't be playing Snorlax. So take that with a grain of salt. But I do think it's a good play. I just personally have other decks in mind for the event that I think are better plays. I'm not playing any energy anymore. We don't really need the Chi-Yu. So just a win more card. I mean, it can help in format like World where it's best of 3 and you don't want to tie a lot. You know, it can help to be like, you know, you go to game 3, it's going to be tight on time and you're able to lock it up thanks to Chi-Yu milling to end your games a little bit quicker, but definitely not necessary. And I think they're just more important cards. Hammers. Now hammers I'm not sure about yet. I have them in my current list because it seems like most people are playing them, and they have felt pretty solid. They help slow down quite a few decks that you would really like to slow down. But I'm not sure they're the way to go yet. It is a lot of deck space, you know. Four cards and coin flip, that's a lot of deck space to me. We got 2 of these Night Stretchers now. We don't play any basic energy, like I mentioned earlier, so that is just going to be much better than Super Rod. Just grab the Snorlax back right away, put it on the bench. Super Rod, of course, grabbing back multiple is nice sometimes, but with 2 Stretcher, that's really going to be a lot more powerful than the single Super Rod copy was for recovery. 2 cards over here. Just not completely sure what those 2 cards are. Pidgeot V. I don't play Pidgeot. Just not really necessary. Honestly, the nicest thing about Pidgeot, you definitely don't need it to prevent decking out. It also doesn't really work to prevent decking out in the matchups where your opponent is trying to deck you out. So it's really more of just like a win more card. I am going to swap to this Iono because it's nicer. Alright. That is the list. I'll go over it just one more time quick. If anyone wants to screenshot it for themselves, it is right there. I will go ahead and put it in the chat as well. Why is Firefish not being able to me? Oh, okay. I did answer that without even checking. Yeah, the Firefish just isn't as valuable into the matchups that are super popular right now. It's not that good against Guardy. It can be okay. I like to try to mill Turo with maybe like a Hero's Keep on the fish, but you really would rather just have a Snorlax active at all times. Against Zard, it's a lot weaker because you can't just Hero's Cape or Bravery Charm it when your opponent's Vacuum is gone because of like Dusk Noir. And your game plan against Zard has changed to just be like double fighting Ogre Pawn. There are a lot of matchups where you're like, even against Drago, your matchup is mostly changed to just trying to set up a fighting Ogre Pawn win con. Sometimes Snorlax win con still, but you just don't have as many matchups where you actually have time to use Chi-Yu. Like Lost Box was a matchup where you had a lot of time to go ahead and use Chi-Yus multiple times and then like penny loop it. Whereas you just don't have those matchups as much anymore. Obviously, there would still be situations where Chi would be good, but it's not most situations. Not quite worth it. But let's get right into a game then. With the Lax. I'm a big Snorlax fan. I've only played it. I think I played it to like one cup. I don't think I've played it any other events. I definitely haven't played it any majors. I don't think I've played it any challenges. I top 8'd? Top 8'd? Top 4'd? I don't remember. I made cut at a cup with it. The one time that I played it. But I think I lost to like a Miraidon, which is not a great matchup. It's like not a terrible matchup, but like it very much depends on like what your opponent starts. And it was last format, not the current one. But it's not a deck that I've considered for a lot of events. It was my second pick for EUIC this year. I ended up playing Pidgeot Control instead, and that did not go my way. So probably should have just played Snorlax. But Snorlax has been a deck that I've considered for many tournaments. It just never really bit bullet on. Alright, Rotom start. Ooh. Rotom start as Charizard into Snorlax. Feels very good for us. Certainly not complaining. Played Lax at NAIC. Yeah, Lax was a pretty solid play for NAIC too. There's a lot of Lugia hype, just scary, but if you played like Heavy Temple, and the Lugia matchup's fine, it just doesn't feel worth playing the Heavy Temple in any other matchups. I think for NAIC it definitely was probably worth it to play Temples, but Snorlax wasn't especially a deck that I was considering for NAIC, so. My opponent's going to bench 3 Charmanders. I don't know if they need to do all that. Typically, like, even your attackers, you don't want to bench that many, because you don't want to have to power up multiple attackers. I probably want to get another Rotom, or another Snorlax, but I definitely want to get a Rotom. So let's just Nestball for the Rotom out first, I think. The thing is, like there's part of me that just wants to Erica and see if I hit something while my opponent has 8 cards in hand. But maybe that's not correct. I think I'm gonna Erica. Nice. Rewarded. They have Candy. Whoa, okay. Legacy Energy is spicy. Typically, when I play Snorlax, any card that shows my opponent's hand, I'll write down all the cards that were in there. I don't know if I'll do that today, but I'm going to try when I have a chance. I haven't written down this hand yet. Let me jot it down. So they had Pidge, Arven, Candy, Legacy. I believe they had a Fire as well. A Counter Catcher. That's what I remember for sure. That'd be 6 cards, means I forgot one of them, if that's accurate. If I got all the ones that I did say right. Most of the matchups I hit hard tech for me. I went 4-3-2 in seniors. Yeah, that's just like the scary thing about playing a deck like Snorlax is that you don't want to hit your techs, but I mean certainly isn't likely to hit, a bunch of players that hard tech for Lax. I don't think it's a good decision to hard tech for Lax, but some people do it anyways, right? That was a big part of what made me play pitch control at EUIC, was that I felt like I could beat all the Lax counters that people were running. When are you leaving for World? I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm leaving on Thursday. So I leave on I'm pretty sure my flight schedule says that I leave in the morning on Thursday, and then with the time zone changes and stuff, but by the time I get to Hawaii, it'll be 4 p.m. on the Thursday. So I'm going to go Hawaii, reflect Hawaii, walk straight to check-in, pick up my badges, go to bed, and play the next day, basically. Many of you probably know that my lovely partner is pregnant and due in October, which is still a little bit of a ways away, but I'm just making this trip as short as possible to make sure that I can be home and help take care of them when they need it. So in Thursday, out Tuesday morning. Alright, here we go. So, I'm putting his committed this legacy energy to Charizard. I think I'm just going to Nest Ball for the fighting. Ogre Pawn. Get that down. I'm going to attach. I think the fan should probably go on here. If they try to like attack this with Charmanders, I can move. Yeah, I'm going to put this on here for now. I can always penny it and then put something else on it later. Now let's play the Artisan, get another Snorlax down. This is a matchup where it's like kind of interesting because you don't necessarily want to just go Snorlax. The main game plan really is like Ogre Pawn and Mimikyu, so we'll go Misfortune Sisters. But obviously, right now they have Rotom on bench, Lumineon active, so I'm definitely going to put a couple Snorlax down and see if I can just win that way. To be honest, I think you're teching for Snorlax. If you're teching for Snorlax, you should put in cards that are generally useful instead of only useful for stall, like Turo or Collapse and Grenade, something simple. Yeah, I'd agree. I don't think there are that many Snorlax techs right now that are only good against Snorlax. There's like Minior, but when I've seen people play that, usually they'll try to like make it useful in other ways. Like people will play it in Lost Box with super effective glasses in past formats. That way it can one-shot Iron Hands EX. But yeah, I think generally speaking, if you tech for any matchup, you should usually not play a tech that is only good into that matchup. There are exceptions, like maybe it's your only bad matchup, and you just, want to play a one card that just 100% of the time beats it. You know you're going to play against it for sure. Maybe like your close friend who's also very good is playing it to a cup or something that you're going to. In that case, like sometimes there are occasions where you should hard tech, but almost like 95% of the time, your tech should have multiple uses. I played against a POW with Jet, Kyogre, Loop, and Switch Cart. That does sound like a bad time. Okay, the Duskull has hit the board. I think I'm just going to force them to Rotom again, or to Turo again here. So we're going to go bring up the Snorlax. Airy. Nice. Got the Palpad. Lumen, Manaphy, Pidgey, Defiance, Band Fire. 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 Let me write that down. Lumen, Manaphy, Pidge, Defiance, Fire. So yeah, whenever you know your opponent's hand, especially if it's larger, if it's one card, I'm sure you can just remember it, but you should write down their hand and then cross the cards off as they use them. Because in a lot of situations, your opponent won't even necessarily use those cards or shuffle them into the deck over the course of many, many turns, especially with a deck like Snorlax, right? So it can be important. Maybe, right now they have Fire Energy in hand, right? Or Lumen. Maybe in 10 turns, I'll be thinking like, oh, do they have a Lumen or a Fire in hand? And I might have forgotten by then. So good just to have that written down that they still have that card in hand. So right now their hand is exactly Lumen, Defiance, Fire. They played all their other cards, all the new cards that they've drawn. And they're just going to bring the Dusknoir out. And I don't think there's ever a need for them to use the Dusknoir in this spot. Well, at least not this turn. Yeah. I have no idea why they attached Fire Energy to Rotom. That was a terrible idea. But we'll just Misfortune Sisters, hit this Nest Ball. I would love to penny this, though. Or, not that. This. We'll go... I think I am going to put another one of these down. Artisan. I'm not going to mention another Snorlax if I find one. No. So I'll just instant charge. So, scary thing is like, okay, ideal for them is probably like pop Dusknoir, put 130 on this, Iono me down to 5, and counter catcher this, and then just retreat, knockout with Charizard EX. That still leaves me in a pretty good position though. They get into 3 prizes. If they knock out 1 Ogerpon, or knock out 2 Snorlaxes, that's 1 prize. If I can keep them knocking out any more Snorlaxes, then I can let one of these go down and still win with the other one, so. Yeah, but IRL note-taking is pretty hard. No, it also takes a fair bit of time from my experience. I mean, maybe that might just be a practice thing. I don't feel like it takes me super long to take notes. I mean, there are shortcuts you can do, right? Like, counter catcher, I just write CC. Or Nest Ball, I write NB, or Ultra Ball, UB. And I scribble it, it needs to be, like, somewhat, somewhat legible, but realistically, like, as long as I can read it, I mostly just scribble. I take notes all the time during tournaments. I don't find, or I'll take notes, like, during my opponent's turn, I'll just remember, like I did there, I just sort of recited the cards to myself. Just do that in my head until I am finished my action and my turn, and then I can write them down while my opponent is playing. Opponent scooped. Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty free matchup. I think if you only play 1 Ogremon, I actually definitely still favor for Snorlax, but I play the matchup a lot from Charizard's side. And I think that if you're really good at playing Charizard, or at least really good at playing against control with Charizard, then you can definitely form some lines, some winning lines. My cat being a menace over there. I'm knocking stuff over. Alright, I don't think I read this here. We tied only because they took 4 pies in game 2 before I found out CC. Before I found CC, I was working with them, we just tied. Yeah, I tied. That's just like one of the scary things about playing control decks in general, even slow decks in general, like Gardevoir or Tina, is that like you really don't want to tie. The first event of the last format before rotation, where Tina was super dominant, won multiple regionals, had the most top 8 finishes of any deck. I played Tina to the first event of that format. One sec, I'm gonna area here. And I had, I think, like 4 ties in day 2. And then I made day 2 going in at 7-1-1, and the deck felt great, but ultimately that many ties is not something I could be happy with. So I didn't end up playing the deck again after that. I think I do want 1 Snorlax down here. I don't really want to bench Rotom. I probably should have benched Rotom, to be honest. That was probably a huge throw. My hand's not that good. If I hit something off the Pokegear, I'm kind of fine, but I definitely should have benched Rotom there. But yeah, there are just some decks, like, they're not that great to play because of ties. I'm not saying that people shouldn't have played Tina in that format because of that. I probably should have kept playing Tina. But the thing is that, like, once you're in day 2 and you're playing usually in day 2 the player caliber is significantly higher than day 1. And you play against like Tina Mirrors or Tina versus Guardy, and those matchups go to top, like, end up being a tie more often than not if you go to game 3. And you just can't make cut with too many ties, so. But if you win your games 2-0, shouldn't really matter. Guardy is pretty scary to play, to be honest, but most decks are pretty fast at the moment, so I think it's fine for Guardy, because if you know the lines, you can play pretty fast with Guardy. Yeah, I think right now, there's plenty of time to play pretty much any deck. I think there's lots of fast decks out there. Even a deck like Snorlax, I think you can probably take to 3 games. But the Chi-Yu, maybe less so. It's tough, because I think there's, like, a certain amount of... there's a lot of slow playing that happens at Majors, right? And I think that there's a certain amount of slow playing that I don't feel like I can do anything about. Like, I'm just kind of, like, at my opponent's mercy on that front. No, they play Giratina V, which is really annoying. Most Redrago lists are not teching for this matchup at all, but this player is, and that is a very bad thing for us here. I think I will Brave Return this. Because our main game lane in this matchup really is just like corner Ogrepon. But that is no longer an option. Yeah, in best of 3, sometimes time just has to be a factor. Because there's a certain amount of slow playing that I don't feel like I can do anything about. You know, like, it's like, to me it's slow playing, but there's not necessarily, it's not slow enough that I really feel like I can call a judge on, if that makes sense. And with a deck like Snorlax, if a player plays at that pace with something like Charizard that plays like 3 Iono, they can pretty easily cheese you out of the game by just playing super slow, waiting until the last possible chance to Iono you every time, trying to keep the game as close as possible so that you have to take your time a little bit. And then you end up, like, losing game 1 and getting 1-0'd. And obviously, ideally, that doesn't happen, or I'm able to, encourage my opponent to play a little faster. But that is something that I consider is, I don't want to get slow played into losses. Okay, so we're going to see a Phantom Dive here, more than likely. I actually think we're in an okay spot right now. Just going to put all the damage on Urtom. Which I don't really, I guess if they just keep hitting it with Phantom Dives, it could make sense. But I'm not really in love with that play. Let's try to knock this fire off, that'd be nice. They only play 3 usually, so no such luck though. We'll go Flute. Nice, so no Mew EX this game. That's pretty nice. It'll definitely be harder for them to set up that Drago. I think I will go Fan over the Hero's Cape, or should I go Hero's Cape? Maybe I'll go Hero's Cape. Just survive a hit. I'm gonna go Nest. Oh, Scoop. I guess they felt like once I counter-catchered that Cleffa again, it was over for them. Alright, let's go again. Let's block them. Block them and sock them. going on Play Limitless today? Let me take a look. We got, whoa, 3 tournaments going on right now. Team Rocket League Day tournaments, which are always 60 and 90 players. That's no surprise. And then the Pokemon Battle Park tournament, which is 117 players. Right now, top 4 for the Pokemon Battle Park tournament is 2 Guardy, a Zard, and a Lugia. Nothing too exciting. I'm not a big fan of Guardy in this format, to be honest. I think it's strong. Don't get me wrong. I think it's tier 1 for sure. And I think that, but I think that like most people are playing the Bravery Charm Drifloon list, and I think it's kind of mid. I do like the Double Flutter, Heavy Munkidori focus, Devo TM build. I posted a list in a article on our site or on our Patreon for the no Drifloon build of the deck. I will say I played a Master Ball on that list, which I do still think is better than Hyper Aroma. It's just like way stronger to be able to grab like already EX or a basic as well. But I think that currently my actual tech in Guardy is neutralizing Zone as the ace spec to help with the Drago matchup, because that matchup can be really tough, especially if they get Kyurem off. And then like the Zone actually has like tons of use in other matchups. Like going neutralization Zone plus Iono in late stages of the game is just gonna be game winning a lot of the time. Because even decks that play stadiums, a lot of time don't play like a ton of stadiums, right? So if you're gonna Iono them to a low hand size, then a lot of time you're gonna be in good shape. I don't want to go lone Snorlax at this point. Definitely too early for that. We will go Hero's Cape. So, like, otherwise I could Penny the Ogre, but it's far too risky. Probably take the Nest Ball here and grab Rotom. I know they've got... I could have went for the Switch card, but I think I need to draw cards. So my hand's pretty dead, honestly, after this turn. I have Counter Catcher too, so 140, 160, 180, 200. Yeah, so they get a Future Booster, an Energy Off Generator, and an attachment. They can knock me out here. No, the immediate vacuum. That's fine. It is annoying that this is doing 200, but I can handheld fan this, and then their force move an energy by choice. They'll move and I have to move an energy off of that for the attack. So I can actually make them. I'm gonna make them move another energy into like the Squawk there. We'll go fan. I'm gonna. I don't know if I want to let them hit this, because it like if they. I don't really want them to hit into Snorlax. I think I'm just gonna Airy and let them hit it, to be honest. And then if they knock it out, I can kind of catch or something. This deck usually doesn't play a lot of switching cards, so like we're already in very good shape as soon as they have an Iron Crown EX on the board. Crown, Hands, Dawn, Arven, Townstore, Lightning. Crown, Hands, Dawn, Arven, Townstore, Lightning. Crown, Hands, Dawn, Townstore, Arven, Lightning. So you have Generator, Future Booster. I mean, they can't retreat, so that is just the damage booster. We'll let them get the knockout. They're going to generate your 2 energy in the Iron Thorns, which I think is a pretty bad play, to be honest. I think they should just leave as many energy as possible in deck, because it's their active that they need to power up. I'm never going to bring up their bench Iron Thorns. We'll bring up the Snorlax with the handheld fan here. Crushing Hammer. Pretty nice. I can try to get an energy off this active Pokemon. No such luck though. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna Counter Catcher, bring out one of these Iron Crowns with no tool on it, and then that'll allow me to just instant charge. I'd probably like to Bravery Charm the Rotom. They're just gonna judge in response to that. That's fine. And we hit the Riri Charm. So let's go Fan, Riri Charm, Suan Heavy Ball, grab the Mimikyu. They don't have anything on board that can hit Mimikyu either. I think Mimikyu is basically just game, but they can hit through it with Twin Shuttles. I'll bench it. And then just set some charge. Usually this matchup they have like the Miraidon on bench or something, so. But they are already down a single Psychic Energy, which is usually the only Psychic Energy they play, so. Okay, they do bring up the Rotom with no I don't have any Gust. So this is in no way to bring the Rotom back to the bench. So this is pretty bad, I'll be honest. And we're not gonna be able to instant charge. Like, I think statistically we're likely to find something. Nice. I was gonna say we're likely to find something before it's too late, but we did. No, it's instant charge. Who needs the Snorlax to be active? It's gonna be tough for them to retreat this either way. Got 3 Arven for finding those feature boosters. Grass. Looks like they're playing the leaves as well. Not that it matters here. And we got the Penny. Pick this up. Bring this up. Artisan. Let's get another Snorlax out. We'll Bravery Charm the Mimikyu to play around the shuttles. And then just pass. Now at this point we just lone Snorlax through the matchup. This is why like maybe I shouldn't have benched this because they can pull this up and then retreat, but I really don't think they have a good way to knock it out. So pulling it up and then retreating it does not seem like a winning game plan for them. Alright. It's Artisan again. Got another Snorlax. Arven. Let's take Counter Catcher Stone. Yeah, we'll just take the Counter Catcher. Guarantee that we have one. If my opponent gets out of the active, or finds a Psychic Energy to start attacking with this crown. If they're playing, like, I don't know, if they're playing multiple Grass Energy, I can imagine they're also playing more than one Psychic Energy. But they are playing a Super Odd, so they Super Odd, shuffle that Psychic back in. End turn. That's definitely still not going to be enough for them to actually take 4 prize cards, so. Town Store. Finally going to come down. Grabbing Booster. Baton. Misfortune Sisters. Nothing. Pass. I'm pretty sure we've already won this. I think our opponent's going to get the Psychic onto this crown, and then we're going to Counter Catcher, pull up the other crown, and they're probably going to concede. Yeah, so this is something you shouldn't do, right? Like, there's no point in powering up attackers that haven't been pulled up to the active yet, because I'm just never going to target those attackers if they have energy on them. If you can power up literally every single Pokemon on your board, then that's maybe different, but generally speaking, like, setting this up is only going to take energy away that could have been put onto this when I pull it up. And if you are going to power up one of your bench Pokemon, probably make it one that doesn't have free retreat. Obviously it doesn't really because of Snorlax, but powering up this one is still slightly marginally better than powering up this one because this one already has the feature booster if it needs to retreat. But I suppose 70 into Mimikyu is relevant if they play more than one vacuum. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. Leaves hands, nothing. We'll Town Store, just grab that stone back, and then end turn. My cat is causing mayhem about the place. Nothing. Let's Arvin. Yeah, I'm just gonna have the Palpad. Use it. Shuffle back in Misfortune Sisters and an Airy, and then end turn. I'm pretty much just gonna draw pass from here. Okay, they're gonna Prime Catcher Snorlax up. Full Cyclone. I'm just gonna bring Snorlax back into the active spot. And then I'm going to boss up that Iron Crown with a Lightning on it. And end turn. Still have 2 Counter Catcher in deck. Still have Silenes. We get Counter Catchers back as well. I'm just gonna quickly pass. See if we can just pass our way through this game. I'm not gonna waste supporters that I don't need to. Or anybody's time. Okay. Silene. Can we get a Palpad back? No Palpad back. That's okay. We have more. As long as we don't flip too many tails on Silene. But I don't think there's any chance that we don't... that our opponent doesn't deck out first anyways. Marplerp. That's our opponent's username. They're down their Prime Catcher. They're not down any switch cards. If they play switch cards, they can still move back to the bench once. And same in the Arvin. It's an auto out to Counter Catcher, so it's very valuable to have multiple copies of that in the deck. Especially because our opponent's already played 1 Judge, so there could be multiple. Could even be 4. Especially in a Thorn-focused deck, I wouldn't be incredibly surprised. Stretcher does not change anything for us here. A pass back. We'll Palpad. Shuffle back in Silene. Airy. And turn. I think at this point I'm in good shape. I just don't really need to do much. But disrupt. Try to play Aries and my Fortune Sisters. Run my opponent out of resources here. Their Psychic is still in the deck there. So they're still waiting. Go ahead and use that Twin Shuttles. I mean, if they're using the Snorlax, I'm just going to move the Psychic onto Thorns. Okay, another Pokegear, and turn. Getting there. 5 cards left. We're almost there, folks. Hold on tight. I know Snorlax gameplay isn't always the most exciting. This definitely isn't the most exciting matchup either. Yeah, our opponent's got nothing. End turn. Because this matchup pretty much just boils down to our opponent can't scoop at this stage because there's still a chance. So this is the chance, right? They Iono, they draw their Psychic Energy, they attach the Iron Crown, they start attacking, and they pray that's enough. But given that I have a handheld fan attached, I don't see how that could ever be enough, to be honest. Because I'm just going to move this Psychic off as soon as they attack with it. So they're not going to attack with it. I'll just Airy now. I'm pretty sure they're out of items at this point. So I'll just end turn. I probably should have just Counter Catchered the Squawk or something here, since I know that that is their last energy most likely. Now, I know pretty much almost for sure that that's their last Psychic Energy. There's one card in their deck that I didn't see between those two Aries. Their draw for turn last turn. Heads. Nice. Discard the Psychic. I don't even need to bring something else up. That's probably a scoop. Yeah. Yeah, I think they probably should have just scooped earlier. I mean, with the handheld fan, there was really no chance. They went Iono Psychic, and they were hoping to draw a boss. But they did not find the boss, because it was in the hand before the Iono, so it had to be, like, the top deck there. And even then, they still would have lost the Crushing Hammer, or just a Counter Catcher. I don't really like to go first usually. Needs more consistent build. Play a supporter turn 1. Don't want to get donked by something silly. Very good turn 1 hand. Got Arven. Got Nest Ball. Maybe Stone. Ooh, and a Manaphy start for my opponent. Even better. Hopefully we hit some good stuff off the flute too, and then we're just in real good shape at that point. 2 Ralts. Okay. So these guys are going to be important. I haven't played this matchup that much with handheld fans in the deck, to be honest. But I know generally what I'm supposed to do. So we'll flute. Sure, we'll put the Mew down. And then we can't get... I mean, Gertie almost never plays Candy, so I'm just going to Erica. Turo, Boss, Palpad, Dark Psychic. Nice. Turo, Boss, Palpad, Dark Psychic. Turo, Boss, Palpad, Dark Psychic. So now if I draw an Airy before they get a chance to use that Palpad to shuffle Turo back in, I can just go ahead and Airy the Palpad. And I'm putting pressure on the Palpad anyways because they know about it. So they know that I can Airy it. Means they might even be inclined to use it on something they don't need to use it on. Okay, but now we're going to go Arven. Go ahead and get the Nest Ball. Let's get Bravery Charm for the Rotom here, I think. We'll go Nest Ball. Get Rotom. We'll put the Bravery Charm on it. The Stone's prized anyways, so I'm just going to stay at a Miracle Force range. With 2 Munkidori, they could still do it, but it's kind of hard for them to use multiple Munkidoris anyways. I'm going to challenge after this. I'm probably going to play some sort of Pidgeot control deck, or maybe just Charizard or something. Not 100% sure yet. We'll go there. We did draw the Aries, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of that Palpad. We'll do the Counter Catcher too, just so they deck out a little bit faster and have to discard something else on their refinements, because that's obviously ideally what they would want to discard off their refinements. These handheld fans, basically, they saw our opponent using a Teleportation Burst, so we can counter cut the Ralts, and if they Teleportation Burst, then we can move the Psychic onto something like the Manaphy, something, you know, they don't want the Psychic energy on. So, that is... Or, you know, usually they'll attack with the Gardevoir EX, and then we'll pull up the Ralts and the Teleportation Burst. So usually, in that situation, obviously, we just put the Psychic on the Gardevoir EX, since it already has enough energy to attack anyways, so that energy is just extra. Let's Pokegear. Take the Boss, I think, here. They have not committed to attaching Dark to this Munkidori to confuse me, because they'll just get it moved with the fan anyways. But I don't know if that means that I want a Boss. Oh, it's Instant Charge. I just kind of feel like I maybe want to save the Boss. I might want to just use them on the Manaphy now. But I know they have Turo in hand already. Ooh, they play their own Airy. I assume I can get rid of double Counter Catcher. It's pretty annoying, to be honest. Hopefully we can find Xylene. Got a little lucky on it. Get some counter catchers back. Because that's pretty unfortunate. An end turn from them. We'll heavy ball. Fail. Handheld fan the other Snorlax. And then I'm just going to instant charge. It's a little awkward because they're obviously not doing anything. So the port stage is not getting advanced. I can't put any pressure on them. This is where it's nice with something like Pidgeot control. I can at least like attack. In this situation, you know, I can just start taking prizes. Start chasing down the Ralts. But I really don't get that much advantage to their slow start here, other than getting to use some areas and stuff. I did manage to get their Palpat because of it, which is nice, but generally speaking. I mean, and I get more set up, right? You know, by the time they get attacked, I'm going to have 3 Snorlax, all with handheld fans on them. That's no easy feat for them to deal with. I might just penny the Rotom next turn at this point. Cypher. I'd love the Fortune Sisters here. If they put items on top, great. I get to discard some items with the Sisters. But even if they don't, I still, you know, shuffle their deck. So they don't get the exact 2 cards they want. I think I'm in a winning position no matter what at this point. How badly do I feel like I should go for the Fortune Sisters? Not that badly. I'm just going to penny this, get it out of play. I think I will Nest Ball the 4th Snorlax down, even though I can't fan it. And I think next turn I'll probably use Arven for a Flute. If they don't bench anything. Okay, Kirlia. See what they get rid of. Just a Psychic. Another Airy. So Palpad Gear, maybe? Yeah. Not great. Double Airy. That's kind of crazy. I assume there's no more than 2 in a Palpad, and that'd be pretty ridiculous. We'll go Arven, Flute, see if we can get another bad Pokemon on their bench, like Greninja. Nah, I'm not going to give them the Ralts. They can bench the Ralts themselves if they want to. Like, later on, I might be okay with grabbing a Ralts off a Flute if I can't grab anything else, but for now, I'd rather just them have less Kirlias in play, so. Refinement. Yeah, still not really anything going on from our opponent. Let's just try it again. Arven, Flute. Flute. Sure. It's just that they don't take that much damage, so it's not that easy for them to use multiple Munkidori anyways, so I think I'm just going to go for double Munkidori. Might get punished if they, you know, like one shot. Even, it's not even, like, with no Rotoms or anything in play, doesn't even seem that risky to go ahead and throw the second Munkidori on the bench. A 3rd Airy. What is happening right now? Do they have like 4? Oh my god. They've discarded 2 of my Palpad and 2 of my Counter Catcher. I only got 1 Palpad left. My cat has made an appearance. Miss Luna. End turn. I'm going to pass as fast as possible at this point. This is sort of the same board state as last game where I can't really advance my position anymore. You know, Flute doesn't do anything. My opponent doesn't take any prizes. There's no point in me bossing anything up at this stage. I'm fine with the Munkidori being active. So it's pretty much just a draw pass fest until my opponent actually does something. which hopefully they choose to do something sooner rather than later. I don't want my opponent to brick forever. I mean, unless they just brick until they deck out. But realistically, the longer they take this up, the faster they brick, most likely. I don't even know if that's true though. If the more they brick, the faster they deck out. Sorry, you gotta go. Mind Bend. Because they could be doing damage here, but they know that the energy is moving on to something else anyways, so. Three Aries. That's crazy. That's crazy. 3 Aries, a Cypher, and a Thornton. What a Guardy list. We're just going to Airy again. Let's see. Let's look at their fourth one. No fourth Airy, but a Tulip and a Silene. Silene. Palpad Airy back. Palpad double Airy. That Silene is very annoying. Unironically, though. Because they can get their Palpad back. They haven't even used a Turo yet, though. I definitely would have used Turo first. Okay, they got double tails on the Silene anyway, so it doesn't matter. But if they are them, I definitely would have used Turo first and then Silene. Because if you had double heads, you can get back Turo and Palpad. But even if you aren't going to do that, you still want to put the Palpad on, get the Palpad after you've used Turo, because that's what you want to shuffle back with the Palpad ideally, is Turo Silene. So it's like, using Silene now doesn't really make much sense. End turn. Hey, if they're not going to do anything, that's fine with me. I think they could be attacking now. They have Turo in hand. I thought they had a Gardevoir EX in hand when I airied last time. I didn't write it down this time because they have like 15 cards in hand, and honestly, it just didn't feel necessary. Darkness going to go to the bench Munkadori. They don't know what to do. They haven't drawn their fourth air yet. I don't know, maybe they're thinking about it. I don't know what their plan is, if not Turo and then start attacking. They could attack with this and take knockout at least. They can. I mean, they can take knockout with this too. I just don't know why not. What their plan is. What are they planning? If they play another Palpad, that'd be crazy. Silene, Tulip, 2 Palpad, 3 Airy. I'd like to think not. I'd like to think nobody would do that. Would play such a thing. Yeah, I don't like these random Silenes in decks. I know last week I played Poltzard and I talked about why I'm not a big fan of Silene and Poltzard either. Oh my god, they do play 2 Palpad. That is crazy. 2 Palpad, 3 Airy, and a Tulip. They could have airied me 7 times this game. No, they could have airied me infinitely this game with the Silene. This is an insane discard pile for a Gardevoir player. I'm screenshotting this. It needs to be done. Misfortune Sisters, Vacuum, and a Vacuum. No wonder they're bricking. Do they play any items that aren't Palpad? Like, what is going on here? Do they play good cards, draw cards, consistency cards? It would appear not. I don't even know if they really are bricking, because their hand, they were bricking earlier for sure, but I thought they had an attack in hand before they used the Iono. I don't know what their game plan really is now, if they're hinging on that fourth Airy and their third and fourth Pal Pad maybe. I can't believe there's a second Pal Pad, a Silene, and 3 Airy. What is my cat doing? Alright, one sec. I'm just gonna make sure my cat isn't getting anything crazy. Okay, we're back. And it's my turn. End turn. My cat was getting into crazy stuff. Getting into the recycling. End turn. Man, that's crazy. My hunch isn't doing anything. They had Turo. For sure. They had Turo Gardevoir EX. I am like 90% sure they could have just started attacking like 10 turns ago. Maybe not literally 10 turns, but maybe literally 10 turns. They have a lot of cards in hand. It's been a while. I certainly haven't done much. If they drop the fourth Airy here, get rid of my last 2 counter catcher, that'd be insane. That would be somehow more insane than triple Airy Palpad Silene already is. And Vacuum. You'd think that with all these tech cards, they have a pretty decent Snorlax matchup, but I Airied the first Palpad, Misfortune just did the second Palpad. These Airies have been very good for them, but I mean, at the end of the day, they're still just Airies in Guardy. Just not that great in general. Silene got double tails. None of their techs are doing much here. Is this their plan? Is just do nothing until they deck out, use all their Ionos? We'll see. This is probably going to take a minute, so I'm not sure if I'm going to have time to play another game after this, but we will see. I've got to get my challenge and not super long. We'll go, I'm just going to Team Yells and shuffle the Fortune Sisters back in, maybe an Airy. But I don't think there's like really much way we're losing this. Because even if they play 2 Turo, I think we should be able to pretty easily deal with that. Thanks to these fans. The annoying thing is, like, I understand people don't like playing against Snorlax, but, like, why take forever? You know, if you don't like playing against Snorlax, let's get it done with. You know, just draw pass. You know, like, well, that's what I'm doing here. There are cards, and maybe I could play this Nest Ball, burn it. That way I don't redraw into it, because I don't really want Nest Ball at this point. But, you know what? I'm playing Snorlax. I'm trying to get through the game. I'm just gonna click end turn. Especially when I'm playing online. And I think that's something that, like, even in an actual event, sometimes those, like, small accumulations aren't worth the time if you know that you're going to win anyways, like, almost 100% of the time, and you know that you might be short on time if you, like, go to a game 3 situation. Sometimes it's better just to play fast, rather than play, like, 100% optimally, because sometimes those seconds are worth it in a best of 3 scenario. How many games have you tied when you could have won on the next turn, but time was called a few seconds too late for you to get one more turn? You know, it's called, like, right before your turn ends, and then you end up being turn 0 on a turn that you were hoping would not be your last. It's probably crushing him with a dark. Maybe. Since they can't get them back anyways. I mean, they can super out them, though. I don't know. They're not doing anything. 10 cards in deck. We're just going to draw pass until they deck out. If they're not going to make any plays, then we won't make any plays. Alright guys, I'm going to make a promise to you. I don't think I'm ever going to stream Snorlax again. These games are not super interesting. I like Snorlax. I think it is not the most interactive deck of all time. I also think there's a lot of drop passing, which just isn't always fun to watch from a spectator perspective. There are matchups of Snorlax that I think are fun to watch. Some of you could showcase some of these. This is one of them normally, but my opponent is just not really doing anything, so I'm not in any danger whatsoever. Finally, they're going to maybe get a prize. They're going to Turo this Munkidori. If they have another Turo. Okay, this is a regular Turo. The Turo I saw in their hand, I'm pretty sure was a full art Turo, so they do have at least one more Turo. Where are they going to put this damage? Probably on one of these, on the bench. Alright, let's just put this on Manaphy. I'm going to bring up the damaged one. And then I'm just going to counter catcher for the Manaphy. And Dairy. 2 Mimikyu, 2 Drifloon. Yeah. Okay. There's 7 cards in deck. One of them is Turo, presumably. And then hopefully we can just pull something else back down. They should realistically bench something here so that I don't Erica the Manaphy as soon as they Turo it. They could also wait until they get Turo, but I mean, they don't really want me to Erica anything right now either. Just a concession though. Maybe that was their only Turo. Maybe the one I saw earlier wasn't a full art. Alright, I think that's going to be it for today, folks. Snorlax gameplay, not the most interesting, and I can tell by the stream chat that a lot of you likely agree that there's not a whole lot to say about these games. Thank you for watching. I'm going to head off to my challenge, and, you know, I'll post how I do on that on my Twitter. I'll be back in around the same time next week, probably more like the 4:30 p.m. range. Oh, actually, not next week because of Worlds. The week after that, I'll be back, though. Have a great evening, everyone.